Hey guys, I'm Alan York, host of the podcast Talk Ya Way Thru. I created this podcast in order to open up a safe space for men to really be able to unpack the struggles when talking about their mental health, from stress and relationships to identity and purpose. Each conversation is going to open up the floor for open dialogue, vulnerability, and personal growth. The objective of these conversations is to get men more comfortable with talking about their problems as opposed to bottling them up. Please join us for the conversation.
Nobody ever told us it's okay not to be okay.
I'm Alan York, host of Talk Ya Way Thru, a podcast created in hopes to open up a safe space for men to be able to really unpack the conversations when dealing with mental health.
Just to talk to somebody who's on a total different level than me. Talk to somebody who's been through what I'm going through.
How does she know what to pray for you? Tell him press harder because you're going to be okay.
Trust the process. It's not designed for a 5-year-old to know multiplication.
Don't allow what you hear to saturate inside of you.
Life is short. Do it now because you do not want to say, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, woulda. I'm telling you, man.
Welcome back to Talk Ya Way Thru. Today's topic is pressure points. And joining me for the conversation, I got mentor, entrepreneur, and father, Collins Wade, aka Mr. Zoe.
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Man, this is a good thing. I'm happy to have you on the show, man. I'm thankful that you took your time, to come on the show and talk to us. I know everybody that I get on the show is very busy, man, so I really appreciate you taking out the time to come start and have a conversation with us about, men's mental health. I tell everybody the reason why I started this show is because how hard I know it was for me to come out and talk about my mental health, especially with my friends. My journey didn't start in the therapy session, even though I do therapy now. Right. It's one of the tools that I do encourage people to use, but my journey didn't start there, and a lot of people's journey don't start there. My journey actually started with conversations with my friends and just realizing how hard it was for me to open up to my friends about the things we was going through, and not really being able to get full advice from them because we hiding things from ourselves, and not being embarrassed to tell them what I was really going through. So that's one of the reasons why I started. I feel like if I was going through that, then a lot of other men was going through that. So, I kind of wanted to get a couple guys together and talk about different topics to expound on, to help other people know that they're not alone and that their thoughts are not isolated in their head. A lot of other people share those same experiences, So once again, I'm thankful for you coming on. For y'all who don't know, Mr. Zoe is one of my mentors from back in the day. He used to run a program called Brighten Horizons, and it really changed a lot of young men's lives, man. A lot of young men and young women, man, really set us up and took us out of that negative set that we was in, and kind of sprouted us and really broadened our horizons and showed us that it was better things in life. And it's a lot of kids that owe you, a lot of respect.
No, man, they don't mean anything.
Nah, for real,
they
man.
There's a lot of kids,
man, that just owe you just for changing their trajectory in life.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that. I definitely most appreciate that, man. But nobody owed me anything, man. It was always my pleasure and always my privilege to do that for people, bro. It's one of those things that I feel like it's my purpose in life. Even though I feel like it don't pay a lot, but the reward is what you see when you see people like yourself and others go out there and they become productive citizens and they make a change and they start a family and they grow and they pass on some of that wisdom. Each one teach one to me, and that's one of the things that I take with me each and every day. Even as a 45-year-old man now, and 3 daughters of my own, and kind of got one in college, one getting ready for middle school, and then a little one who's full of life and want to do things. So you kind of like take it and make sure you pass it along to them. They say, long as a man teach people and carry himself, you'll never die in the world. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. And like I said, we thank you. And I speak on behalf of everybody that, especially your original crew. I speak on behalf of everybody. We thank you, Mrs. Zoe.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jumping into the questions, tell us about a time early in your life where you first realized a lot of people expected a lot from you.
Well, I think, man, honestly, at the age of 13, I didn't expect it to really happen. I always had that drive to like be my own boss, to kind of like set the standards for what I wanted to see and what I wanted to do for myself. And, whenever I think my family saw me understanding what money was. You know, back in the day, you know, you used to go mow a yard or you go help somebody do some work. They used to pay you in some penny candy or some bag of chips or honey bun. Yeah. So, you know, but I learned the value of $1. So I said, hey, man, in order for me to get to something, let me go get it. And when people realized that I had learned the value of $1, they say, oh, he's going to be the one that's want to figure out stuff. And so what can we put on him to carry through? And so a lot of people saw my potential as being like a leader. And so when they saw that, it became their responsibility each and every time that I stepped into the room that they wanted me to step up. And it was sometimes, you know, it's hard for you to sit back when you are a natural born leader. And, you know, so I had to learn that balance. But when people kept on trying to pull me to the front of the room, that's when the responsibility came. Because then it was like sometimes you don't want to always be in the front of the room. You want to sit back and see what other people bring to the table and see what you can add. And I think at that age, when I kind of figured that out, you know, you don't know that much at 13, but as you grow older, you start figuring stuff out. And so by the time I became like 19 years old, I kind of like knew my purpose and kind of went to Kansas and kind of learned some stuff about myself and learned some things that I could do to bring to the table. And of course, people kept piling because they saw my leadership and they kept piling the responsibility on me. And so, you know, I took on it not knowing how much stress it could put on you, but I took on it and I kind of ran with it. But then, of course, those things in life happen. You know, things start happening to you. You don't know how to balance it when you're that young sometimes. And whenever you go through stuff, if you don't have the right people around you, you don't know what to do. But I did meet some good people in Kansas, a couple mentors that really showed me some ways, showed me some guidance. And so when they did that for me, I kind of like, oh, okay, I got to know how to balance it. So that's one of the things that I did. You know, that's when I realized it when I was at the age of 13.
Early for me, it was kind of later on in life. You know, my dad and Mrs. O. So I was always really raised on handling your responsibility and making sure that you had to do what you had to do before you did what you wanted to do. Right. But I didn't really know how hard that affected me until I want to say around like early 2021. Right. My sister had my nephew when I was my senior year in college. And, you know, I love kids. And so seeing that she was a single mother, you know what I'm saying, I kind of took on that responsibility of being there for my nephew. I didn't know how much I was into it until she decided that she wanted to go to CDL school. Right. And around that time, I was deciding that I wanted to go to CDL school too. But in my mind, I was like, if I sit here and sacrifice, you know, 2 months for her, she can turn around and do the same for me, not knowing that when you get your CDLs, you got to be on that road for a year. Right. So I let her kind of trick me into saying, all right, well, look, you stay here and you watch the yard for me. Right. And you take care of the yard. I'm going to help y'all out, but you take care of the yard. And then when I get my CDLs, I'm going to let you, you know, come turn around and do the same thing. Then when I let her do it, then she hit me with I got to hit the road for a year before I can really just come off and take some time off, you know. Right. So at that moment, I found myself kind of being a single father. You know, I was an uncle, but I found myself being a single father. Right. And I really took that serious. And I pride myself, you know, I always prided myself on handling that responsibility, but I never really realized until recently with me doing therapy how much that traumatized me, you know what I'm saying? It really made me feel like so much was dependent on me. Right. And I took that on willingly but at the time I felt like it was what was needed of me. It was what was called to me, and it really wasn't my responsibility. Right. So I felt like later on in life, that's when I learned that a lot of people expected stuff from me, and I don't necessarily have to have those same expectations that people have on me for myself. Right. You know what I'm saying? I got to learn how to figure out what I want and strive towards that, as opposed to letting other people outside pressure on what they expect from me because what they know I can hold and what they know I can take. Right. And, you know, not fulfill their needs and their wants and stuff like that. So that's when I kind of figured it out. Walk me through a moment where you felt like the pressure of being a provider hit you the hardest, and what was happening in your world at that time.
Oh man, I could tell you at the age of 33, that's when I had my first daughter. I took on a responsibility to be a stepfather, but I also had my first daughter at the age of 33, and I think when she came into the world, it made me grow up a little bit more. Yeah. But then when you never see it from the beginning, it's actually your child, your seed. You want to see them successful. You want them to experience things you never experienced. And you want to make sure you give them a comfortable life. That is when the pressure really hit. And then in the process of that, I had just recently went through a hardship with some jobs. We didn't see eye to eye. And when we didn't see eye to eye, it put me in a financial strength. And so by putting me in a financial strength, it kind of like put me in a situation to where what I was going to do to take care of this child that I just brought in the world. Right. But of course I figured it out. Kind of started making some things happen for myself, had some little small businesses on the side that, I make a couple dollars here or there to push through. And then eventually I took on a full-time job, and then, that catapulted my career a little bit in retail, and, kind of like took off from there. But my mind is always still doing something on the side, regardless of how well I'm doing in retail, how well I'm doing in my career, is to never fall short again on giving somebody that much power to take away my abilities to be who I truly am. And so whenever that happened, and not just having one child now but two, and then like I said, I consider my stepdaughter my daughter, and so really three, and she's in college, so it's making sure that she don't have to go through the struggles I did when I was in college. And so it's like all of those things, responsibilities constantly, it never fades away until you get to the point of either you figure something out that, they try to say money don't solve all things, but if you got a little bit of it, it'll help you breathe a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? So, you just definitely got to look at it from that standpoint. And, like I said, you hit a numbers that I'm throwing out in my head because I also have these conversations with myself all the time, and I know those numbers so well. So when you hear the age 13, 19, 25, 33, those are some very difficult years that I had, but I end up persevering and overcoming. So that's how I look at it.
For me, it's now. I'm actually going through the hardest time right now. I'm figuring out because as men, we are providers. Right. As much as we want to say that we not, and as much as, I know how the new generation is, or you can say my generation on the 50-50, but as men, we are natural providers. Right. And that's something that I always prided myself on. Like I said, that's something you taught me, that's something my dad taught me, that's something every man in my life that I've looked up to has been a extraordinary statue on. Like I've always had good people around me that took care of their responsibility. So that kind of, I took a pride in it because I felt like I was emulating what was taught to me. Right. You know what I'm saying? So recently, like you said, I've been going through I went through a job loss. Right. And it was my fault. I'm not gonna lie and say, it was any other, but it was my fault, the reason why I lost the job. But at the same time, I feel like what you said, I felt that I had so much power invested in other people that had control over my ability to provide for my family. Right. You know what I'm saying? So at that time it took me through a little depression, and I'm coming out of it now, but I'm starting to realize, even with this podcast, I needed something that I could call my own, that I can have control over, that nobody can take away from me. Correct. That nobody has the power to take away from me. And that's my testimony to that. It's not always gonna work out financially for everybody. You're gonna go through some ups and some downs, but as long as you know that you are a provider still, just learning that I'm still what I know I am, regardless of my situation.
Yeah, right. I mean, on that, that whole situation, you gotta look at it from a standpoint. What I always tell people is, it's funny when people say 50-50, 50-50, I always joke about that with people, but I always tell people all the time, you want 100% from everybody, right? Yeah. So, and people are like, well, elaborate on that for me. I said, do you want a dollar or do you want two? Yeah. Right? So in a thing, whenever you look into the simple fact of being married, a marriage is a partnership. It's a business transaction. A lot of people don't look at it like that. So if I can't carry us through, you got to come through. Yeah. As a man, you could say all the time, like, man, yeah, that's my thing, to be the provider, to be the person to carry us. And a lot of times I think that we try to live up to what our grandfathers, our great grandfathers them did. But in this economy, it's hard to do that. It's the opportunities are getting slimmer. The things, if you ain't got no side hustle, if you ain't got no other hustle, it's hard to do that. And I think that what a lot of things, what break a lot of men is that they try to carry that role of being that provider, but they don't know how to ask for help with it. Yeah. And when it comes to that, it becomes a troublesome thing, because it's like, I didn't know how to talk to my significant other about it. I didn't know how to ask her for help, or I didn't know how to say, hey, I need help. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of men mentally deal with on that perspective. So, and it's funny that you talk about that, because I talk with my friends a lot about stuff like that, and we always chime off each other, because we got that's 2 of us that's married, we got a couple of us that's single, but got a couple of us in a relationship, so we kind of like all talk about that. But a lot of times that could be a lot of pressure on you as a man. But if your spouse or your significant other got your back, it doesn't matter what it is they gonna help you out regardless. So don't ever say 50-50. I always go with 100, brother.
yeah, most definitely. My wife is she's a go getter herself, you know. Even though I say I pay, you know, 100% of the bill, she take 100% of the house. You know what I'm saying? Right. She do. I'm not gonna never discredit her on the stuff she does. At what point did you feel like the expectations, either from yourself or from others, was getting too heavy on you?
Well, man, I could say recently, these last you're gonna hit this number 89 days, and you said, man, why you got 89 days? 89 days ago, I lost my father. Just to be, because everybody think you the strong one, right? Yeah. Everybody see you carry yourself. Everybody know that they look at it and they look at your world and they think it's perfect. And I think during these 89 days has been the most pressure. The thing of being there for your siblings, the things of making sure you take care of his final wishes, doing all those things, you know, because my father, he was a very quiet man, but you know, he didn't tell us everything. And so when he didn't tell us everything, when somebody tell you they don't want to be resuscitated, when somebody tell you don't put me on no machines, when somebody say, hey, I want you to be comfortable to let me go, and you could say all day long, oh man, I got you, I hear you. But when it really sets in and you seeing it in real time, in real life, it could really affect everything that you thinking in your head. But you also know that you got to keep everybody together, and that pressure of trying to do that, because everybody got their own emotions, everybody got their own thought process, everybody got their own bad habits. And so when you look at it, it becomes very difficult to stay positive in that sense and in that light, but then also become very heavy. And like at this point, I've been really dealing with that hard. I don't share it a lot with everybody, but I've been really dealing with that hard, just trying to make sure that I know he's living through me, but am I still doing the things that he need me to do in the process of his absence? And so carrying that weight right now is like very, very difficult in this sense of time. And a lot of times you don't turn and tell everybody that you're dealing with it. You kind of just push through it. So, you know, that's where I'm at with that.
Nah, most definitely, man. I didn't know your pops said that, man.
Yeah.
Condolences to you, for real. The same thing for me really is my expectations, or the expectations that I feel that it gets a little heavy, is when they expect you to be emotionally stable when you're going through it.
Right.
Like I said recently, me losing this job and a lot of stuff that came with the job, man, it really took me through a deep depression. And some of the people that I lost, when we talk, they'll be like, man, tighten up, you ain't supposed to be acting like this, like, you know, you like chin up, chest out, you know what I'm saying? And they giving you advice that they think that you would want to hear, but it's like you expecting me to rise to an occasion that I'm not able to do right now. Yeah. You know, I need to cry. I need to sit here. I need to feel what I'm feeling. I need to let myself grieve whatever I'm grieving, whether it's the loss of a job, whether it's the loss of a friend, whether it's the loss of a family member. Your expectations of me to be so resilient at this moment it's not benefiting me. As a matter of fact, it made me feel like, it made me confused and question myself. Like, if you expect that much of me, why do I feel like this even worse? Like, if I'm supposed to be that kind of person in your mind, why do I feel like this? So am I not living up to your expectations? Are your expectations lower than mine or higher than mine? So it really, like, that's one of the things I'm learning to not really let affect me, is when people tell me like how I should come out of it, a time limit on how long I should feel what I feel, or how long I should grieve what I grieve. I feel like I have to never mind it and focus on healing me healthily, you know what I'm saying? And just taking my time on what I need to do to get to where I need to be, so that I can actually function. Because like I said, a lot of people, the expectations that people have on you, man, they don't know how much pressure that they're putting on you, and that you feel like you have to tote for not only them but for yourself. You know, like even when my grandma died, I felt like the expectations of my dad on me was to be strong for him. You know what I'm saying? Because he lost his mother, and I know that it was difficult for him, but I know that if he seen me break down, that he would, you know what I'm saying, go 10 times worse than what I did. So I feel like his expectations for me to hold it together kind of robbed me of not being able to grieve my,
I understand that.
My grandma, and that messed me up. And that's the same way for a lot of people. Like when I lose people around me, when I lose cousins, or when I lose aunties and uncles and stuff like that, I feel like a lot of people know that I'm strong, or they rarely see me cry. So if they ever see me break down when I be really want to, it's just all hell gonna break loose. Then the whole church gonna be crying if they see Chubb cry, if they see York cry, you know. So I do be feeling like the expectations of me to be a certain type of man for people rob me of my emotions at the time, and it make me feel like I have to come out of certain things earlier than what's healthy for me, you know.
And a lot of times when you are the strong one, a lot of people don't let you grieve the way you need to grieve. And I say that in every aspect of life. It's just one of those things of what I've told somebody. I literally told my cousin this the other day. I had to learn to stop expecting me out of people, right? Yeah. I had to stop that in order to understand, no matter if it was at work, no matter if it was at home, no matter if it was my siblings, anything that I was doing, I had to put that in my head that I got to stop expecting me out of people. A lot of times I could be sympathetic, empathetic to your needs, to what you need from me to be. I'm never going to tell you to be, don't let it out, don't hold it in. You're supposed to be strong. Especially, like I said, in these 89 days that I've been going through this journey without my father, I can't say that to nobody no more. I don't even know how to say that to nobody no more. Well, even the point of when people call you and say, man, how you feeling? I'm like, I'm not okay. You know what I'm saying? The other part of me when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, man, I'm good. You know, give them that false narrative. Then I realized that I got to stop painting the picture of a false narrative for other people. Right. And so when I've learned that, it's kind of those moments of I start journaling, I start having moments to myself. I go sit on my back patio and have a cigar and probably a glass of wine or a cognac or something like that. But it's the fact to get my mind free to grieve the way I need to grieve, or to handle, or to figure out what I need to do different in order to be the better version of myself. You got to think about it. When I told you guys when you was in Brighton Horizon, I always be better than the day you were before. Yeah. So in order for you to do that, you gotta find where you weak at. Nobody can't answer for Alan. Nobody can't tell how Alan's feeling. Nobody can't tell Alan how to move. Only Alan can tell Alan how to move. That's why when you look in the mirror, you think about that. Think about that narrative of the parable that I gave y'all that one time when I said, when you look at it, what's covered? What the Lord said he covers us with? The armor of God. But what thing we don't have covered is our back. Yeah. You got your chest plate, you got your helmet, you got everything else in the front of you covered, but your back's not covered. So you got to find the right people that understand what you're going through, just to have your back and let you go through those emotional states. Okay. A lot of times people don't want you to go through the emotional states because they don't want to break, because they see you being strong. Well, if Alan being strong, I could be strong. If Colin's being strong, I could be strong. But then you gotta be like, nah, bro, today I'm not strong today. I gotta let it out. I gotta do something. And that's what I've learned, is that I had to stop expecting me out of people. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think, if a lot of people realize that, yeah, we could say chest up, chin out all day long, but you don't know that feeling. You don't know how that feels. And
it's not easy to put your chest up and your chest
exactly.
out.
So,
I'm trying to tell you, my thing.
Yeah, go. I mean, you know, so you just gotta look at it from that standpoint to walk your journey in life and figure out the things that you can do to tackle and become superior of what you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So,
see, my thing is, like you say, you get you a glass of wine and a cigar. Man, I like to ride around. I'm a slow jam and cry person. That's what I do.
Right.
Man, I give me a little wine, and I know you ain't supposed to drink this, but I just go up and down the street.
Yeah.
I just go up and down the street. But yeah, man, I'm a slow jam, and I like to sit, and I really like to, like, I used to not like to cry, but I'm starting to see how refreshing it really is.
Yeah,
sometimes.
It's cleansing.
Man, when you let some of them tears go, man, it's not. Like, I don't like when people see me cry.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like, you know what I'm saying, hey, we playing with shaking waters. Because people, they like to, you know, when they see you cry, they feel like you ain't what you know you is.
Right.
I got to show you.
Right.
But nah, man, I'm a real big fan of finding something that you love to do and help you release that and let go of those expectations that people have on you, man. Because
right. Most definitely.
It's not healthy. It's not healthy to live up to anybody else's expectations but your own. And understand that you have to have healthy expectations of yourself. You are not Superman. Nothing is going to be built in a day. Everything takes time. Even with this podcast, you know, I was stressing myself out on trying to make it so successful starting out, and I realized, man, you just got to start it.
Right.
Start it. Do it day by day. Do it, you know, guest by guest, episode by episode, and it will build itself, you know what I'm saying, if it's meant for it to happen. But just placing healthy expectations on yourself and realizing that other people's expectations don't really mean nothing, because at the end of the day, like you say, you the only one you got.
Right.
And if you invest in your community right, then they gonna be just as invested in a healthy spot for you to go to as well. Has there ever been a time where burnout kind of crept up on you without you realizing it? And looking back, what were some of the signs that you missed?
Yeah, man. 30 days ago. 30 days ago, I literally, as you could, like I said, you could hear me saying numbers and like being specific with the numbers. And you could say day 60, when I realized that my brother just turned 46, I'm turning 45, and I realized that my pops ain't gonna be here to celebrate our birthdays with us, right? And I literally went to my mama's house and sat on her sat on her bed and cried. And, you know, she was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Everything. Like, everything in life right now is wrong." And she's like, "Talk it out with me." So I started naming certain stuff I'm dealing with, right? And I realized the next day I go to work, I'm listening to some jams, go to work, thinking I'm okay, walk in the job. The manager said, "Man, you all right?" I looked at him and I said, "No."
Yeah.
He like, "Man, come talk to me." I sat in his office and I cried again. And when you realize that, and then the words that came out of my mouth was, "Man, I'm tired. I'm exhausted." And when I sat down, I realized I ain't tired. I realized I'm exhausted, because I had to be strong for everybody. I had to sit back and I had to watch the process that I really thought I was prepared for. Then not only that, you dealing with other things. You still got a family. You still got other stuff you got to take care of. You got people that depended on you. And at that moment, I wanted to say, I'm tired of being everybody's Superman. I'm tired of being the one that everybody could depend on. I'm tired of being the one I could pick up my phone. They say, "Hey, I need this." And I'll be like, "I got you." Right? So when it creeped up on me, because once again, I thought I was prepared for it.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know, the inevitable is gonna happen to all of us. It's gonna come. My daddy was ready. Like, he was ready. He prepared us, bro. We just missed the signs. But he was ready. We wouldn't. But you have to think about that, and you have to say, okay, well, as I'm sitting down and I'm calculating everything around me, he was ready. He know how we are with each other. He want us to be strong. He knew who wasn't gonna be strong, but in his mind, he's like, he was tired. And when you look at that and you think about it, I'm like you. I'm in the church trying to keep it together for everybody, right? I stood up and walked outside and I lost it. And I just said, I just wanted more time. Everybody probably was thinking that I was talking about I needed a whole nother lifespan. I just like, no, I just wanted more time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like 2 weeks prior before he passed, man, I was in the hospital talking and laughing about going on a cruise together. I ain't scared to go on no cruise. I'm like, all right then, Pops, let me get it together. We gonna go on a cruise next year. And it's just those things that when you look at it, you gotta experience the moments and enjoy the time and the effort that people put in your life, and you have to harness those memories. And so what makes me smile is that when I think of the memories.
Yeah.
What keep me going when I think of the memories. When I look at the part of that I'm tired and exhausted, one of the things is that when you get tired and exhausted, it's obviously dealing with the fact that you want to grow and you don't have the right people around you to grow. And that's when you become tired and exhausted and frustrated. And so that's when the burnout creeped up on me. I realized that I was being everybody's Superman.
Yeah.
Giving everybody the right answers. Making sure I'm doing everything right for everyone else. Right? But I wasn't taking care of me.
Yeah. And that's how it happened, man. Same thing for me, really. It was, I can remember the day, it was October 30th of this year, 2025. I haven't lost my job yet, but I'm kind of in the battles of I'm knowing what's finna go down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some stuff was transpiring at the work site, you know, and I kind of knew what direction we was going, but just like you said, people... You feel like you know what's happening, so you feel like you the master of it.
Right.
I know what's finna happen, so I know which moves to make.
Right.
You know, I know how to do this. I know, like I already know what you planning on me, so I know I'm a beast at chess. I already know what I'm finna do. I'm finna set you up right here. You know what I'm saying? Do. And I didn't realize that I was acting emotionally and not logically like I always do.
Right.
And that's one, looking back, that's one of the signs that I feel like I missed. That a lot of my decisions was being made emotionally because it was more than just a job, or, you know, and what was going on was more than just a job. It was a lot of emotions involved going on.
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? So I felt like a lot of my decisions was made emotionally, and it got to the point where I thought I had stuff set up the way I needed it to be set up, and when I lost it, when they told me, I didn't lose my job at the time. Right. They just told me, hey, we sending you home for the day. And I don't know why in my mind I heard, if this is like the song, this is the end. Right. It started playing in my head. And man, when I say it was already happening in the point where I had just lost my cousin a couple months earlier. Right. You know, stuff going on at the job. Me and my wife was going through a hard time at the time. And I was going through with some of the friends that I had recently made at the time, you know what I'm saying? So I just felt like it was a lot of things that I couldn't control that was happening to me. And on top of suffering from depression, I find myself in the darkest place I ever been, you know what I'm saying? Right. I just found myself in the darkest place I ever been, you know what I'm saying? And some stuff transpired from that. So I do feel like you have to pay attention to your trigger points, and you have to pay attention to your weaknesses, because if you don't tend to your weaknesses, a lot of people say they like to build off their strengths, but you really need to build off your weaknesses. You really need to understand your weak, because you're only as strong as your weakest link. Right. And my weakest link is my emotions. Like, growing up, I've never really had to deal with emotions because I was always so logical, like logic based. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I was never like a pretty boy or suave boy, so I never really had to deal with heartbreak early on. So I kind of prided myself on that. You know, I always had a callous heart, I guess,
Right.
cold heart. But then as I got older and I met my wife, you know, she started tearing down those walls and I started letting people in and stuff like that. I started noticing that I didn't really have control over my emotions as I thought I did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And back then it was more so just cold hearted and not allowing myself to feel emotions. But now is I feel these emotions and I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how to, you know, when somebody hurt me, I don't know how to sit still and not hurt them back because
Right.
I'm hurt. You know, I was kind of,
Right.
you know, acting like a child and stuff like that. So, yeah, you only as strong as your weakest link, man. And I really had to learn to start focusing on what emotions mean, what certain emotions, why do I feel these emotions? Is it necessarily because what that person did or is it because of another reason? And that's why therapy really is helping, because it's like a lot of the stuff that you're waging war against somebody because they hurt you, you thinking it's something they did, but you're not realizing the whole war and the whole conflict is within yourself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, like I said, yeah, that burnout is something that I wish had never happened again, and I'm praying to God that it never happened again, and I'm equipping myself.
Well, I'm be the first to tell you it's gonna come on you again,
Yeah.
brother. As long as she's on this earth, it's gonna happen. You gotta look at it like this. What I tell people all the time, you gotta always study the enemy within, right? And if you look at the scripture in the Bible, it says study thyself. But if you keep reading, it's saying study yourself, study who you are. Know, like what you said, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, but you also got to tighten up on your weaknesses so that you can not be too vulnerable to people, because a lot of people like to play on your emotions, and if they know they got the trigger points, they're going to push those trigger points. So you have to be smart on how to also not let people wage war on who you are, so that you could keep your sanity and keep your mind strong. It's just like, I don't know if you saw a couple of times I posted on Facebook when I said all is fair in love and war.
Yeah.
Like I said it 3 times in a row. All is fair in love and war, right? Few people liked it, few people like, what are you talking about, right? But you gotta think about it. You always gonna do what you need to do for yourself, but you also know there's always going to be war within yourself, regardless of how you look at it. I don't care how strong you are, how strong you look at it. I don't care how many therapy sessions you go through. It's still going to come back to you. And that's why you got to look yourself in the mirror and making sure you're not waging war on yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times that's what we do. Like, you want that perfection. You want this to happen. You want certain things. You want to be able to make your wife comfortable because you took on that role. So you waging that war, and you kind of confused in the process, or you kind of frustrated in the process because you don't see the things that happen for you. Like, I feel like for me and part of my career, I feel like it's time for me to level up and be the boss, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, I'm still at the same level, and I struggle with that. But I also know that, hey, I go out here and make the same type of money I'm making by just doing this little business venture that I know I've been doing, and make the same type of money. But it's one of those things of, do I let procrastination keep me down? Do I let, man, today I'm tired, I don't want to do it? What is it that the reason I'm not pushing forward? So you have to just make sure that when you're waging war with yourself, you got to know how you waging the war and know how to put it at peace.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think my war that I wage is I started to trick myself into believing that what other people think of me is true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's, like I said, like I was talking to Pastor Shadrick yesterday, he was saying that the most powerful thing you can do is to speak over yourself, man.
Right.
Encourage yourself and know that you are what God said you are and what not other people think you are.
Exactly.
And especially when you, like a lot of people, they tend to make mistakes. Like me, I tell everybody, I'm not perfect. I'm gonna make a mistake, but if you stick with me and you show me that you're able to forgive me for my mistakes, man, I'll be the most loyal person to you, because I know how hard it is to forgive somebody for something. Because I'm one of them people, like I used to hold grudges real bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until I realized that I was shutting way more people out that I really had in my life to fall back on, that I realized, you know what I'm saying, I'm being a little too harsh, man. It's power in forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? Especially when the person is showing you that they are able or willing to change, and not only that, but they are trying to course correct, like not do what will hurt you again. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel like, whenever I tell people all the time, when you make a mistake, just know that you made the mistake is not you.
Right.
You are not defined by the mistakes that you made, even if you do something that was outside of your character. As long as you know that was not you and you believed who you know you are, then you know what I'm saying, let that mistake be the mistake, man, and try to move on.
I mean, there's something you can learn from all the time.
Yeah, for real. Was there ever a moment where your ambition and your mental health was pulling you in two totally different directions? Like what you wanted to do versus what was good for your mind and your body was pulling you. I know you got some on there, because I know Brian Horizon used to tell you.
Man, I think that's my whole life story, really. Yeah. I try not to I laugh about it, and you heard me start laughing when you asked that question, but I think that's my whole life story. I'm a very ambitious individual, man. Yeah. And a lot of times, you could be so ambitious that whenever you fatigue, your body could trick you, or your body could tell you ain't got, your mind could tell you keep going, but your body tell you to sit down. I done had plenty of those moments. It don't matter if it's a simple cold. It don't matter if it's something, a health scare. It don't matter what it is. I done had plenty of those moments because my mind telling me to keep going. My ambition is telling me, hey, you almost there, and my body like, bro, sit down for a second. You're doing too much. You out here doing this and this, and sometimes, like, you ever hear that saying that your body will make you rest when it want to rest?
Yes, sir.
I done had plenty of those moments. My body done said, okay, we got you. We need to put you on a week's rest. You finna catch a cold. This cold ain't finna end. This cold is finna be different from the last cold.
Yeah.
You finna feel a certain way. All of that stuff really. So you have to learn how to find a balance, and a lot of times your ambition can actually put stress on you that you not knowing that it's putting on you, and stress is a silent killer. And so a lot of times, if you don't have some outlet, whether it's the gym, whether it's that moment of meditation, whether it's yoga, whatever you do, it can really take hold of your body and make you sick to where you can be down for a month. It just all depends on, at that time, what your body feel like you want to do, because it's your body. So you have to know how to listen to your body. You have to know how to celebrate the small wins. A lot of times we forget to celebrate the wins that we have, and to tell ourselves, hey, we doing the things that we're supposed to be doing right. So once you start learning those things and you start like putting those things together, it becomes like a whole different level of how you move. And so a lot of times, like I said, I stopped getting upset about the fact that I haven't been promoted yet. I stopped getting upset that, hey man, I slowed down in my business right now. I stopped getting upset for those things, right? Because at the end of the day, one of the hardest things, think about it, if you go to the gym, and I seen you post that you started back working out. If you go to the gym, the hardest weight is in the gym is what you think it is. And David Banner said this, if you watch one of his podcasts, think about it. What is the hardest weight in the gym?
The hardest weight?
Yeah, the hardest weight.
For me, it's benching.
So you say benching. The hardest weight is the door to walk in that gym. To open it up.
I ain't think about it like that.
Yeah, to open it up. Because, I mean, we think about it. We'll pull up to the gym. It's been times I done pull up to the gym and sit in the car.
Yeah. Most definitely.
And just sit there. And then I'll pull off. Right? And I'll pull out. But once I get up and get out the car, actually open that door, and I walk inside, I'm in here. I got to do something.
And it's like you realize you got more energy than you
exactly.
thought you did. Like when you pull up, you so sluggish, my man, you ain't got no energy.
Yeah,
when you go in,
exactly.
You work out, it's like I had way more
exactly.
energy. Now you right though.
So you once you start defeating that part of it, it's like one of those things of everything start falling in place. So once I started back getting into working out and getting that frustration off me, getting that disappointment off me, man, I was feeling a whole lot better. So now when people see me, they say, man, why you always smiling? Why not?
Why not smile?
Oh, well, this happened. Man, it is what it is. If they can't tell me what I need to work on to make myself better, then obviously I might be doing everything right. And I just might be intimidating them, the fact that who I am or who I am. They might not ready for me. They might not be ready for Collins Wade.
Yeah, that's something I'm learning too. Man, when you operating or when people see what's on you and not in, like when people see what's in you,
right,
and not on you, because a lot of people try to put on what's in other people.
Yes.
They will do any and everything to knock you off your square.
Exactly.
And if you're not prepared for it mentally, it'll bother you, man. It'll make you feel like you're the one that's wrong. You're the one that's doing something. Like, what is it that they like? You know what I'm saying? You not noticing that they see something great in you?
Right.
You're thinking that they picking on you,
right?
And they are picking on you, but they're picking on you for a reason, not because you're ugly. It's because they see something great in you. They see the potential in you, and they wish they had it, and so they try to put it on them, not realizing it's not even on me. It's in me.
Right.
It's just in me so much that it emulate like it's on me. Like it's not, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's something that I mean, a couple of people have told me that, man, and I took it for granted when they was telling me, but I'm starting to really believe and walk into that, man. I am something powerful. I am something great. I'm something that's going to be serious. You know, I'm something that's a force to be reckoned with. Like you told me, I posted this the other day on Facebook, in the words of Mr. So, I want the devil to be mad when I wake up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I put my 2 feet on the ground, I want him to understand that he got a fight on his hands. You know what I'm saying?
He definitely want him to have a fight on his hand every day. You know what I'm saying? And that goes down to the things of like what you just said. It's funny that you said it because like even at one of my jobs, I'm so powerful in my movement. It's like crazy how it happens, and I have to say, it's in me. It's not on me, baby. I've been doing this for years. I've been knowing how to move people for a long time. I'm the one that psych myself out from doing it most of the time, and when a lot of times they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Man, I got a voice that could sound like I could be on the radio." People have asked me every time when they see me, am I a pastor? I done led people to great places. I could start naming things what I have done, but I'm like, but in certain things when people see what I have in me and they so much instead of utilizing that tool to help them become great, they're afraid of it. No, and so it becomes one of those things that you have to know who you are, what power you carry, and what they missing out on. You know what I'm saying? So like when you say, I made a move in my career one time, and I told the manager, I said, "Hey man, I'm gonna go ahead and put my 2 weeks in because I feel like I'm stopping somebody's blessing, right?"
Yeah.
And he looked at me like, "Huh?" I was like, "Well, obviously somebody else who feels like they deserve this position, so I'm gonna go ahead and move around, and I'm gonna give them the opportunity to grow, right?" Don't you know? A year and a half later, they closed their business down. I moved out the way. In a year and a half later, they closed their company down. Yeah. COVID happened. So sometimes God gives us enough sense to see stuff to make our move, and because it's in you to be great, He's still going to take care of you, regardless of how you look at it. It might be something that could hurt you financially, but if you know that He's going to take care of you, it's going to happen. Yeah. And so when you see it come to fruition, you see it grow, you see it come, man, it's bigger than most people can handle, and a lot of times a lot of people don't know how to handle it. But it's like what you said, when it's in you, man, you just got to keep pushing for greatness.
And it's gonna compel it. It's gonna compel out of you regardless. Yeah. And that's one thing I'm learning too, man. It's gonna come out even when you don't want it to. It's gonna come out you. It's like you even when like I said, I'm coming off one of the biggest mistakes I've made. You know what I'm saying? Step way out of my character. Hurt some people, you know, and I took a full accountability for it, and I'm making sure that I'm working on myself to not put myself in that position to even hurt those people again. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to them; they know who they is. You know what it is. But even when you want to be something you're not what's in you gonna compel you to be
right. Your soul ain't gonna sit right.
It ain't. Even when I made the mistake, Mrs. O, I ain't gonna lie to you. I did what I did, and I drove off. I said, "Boy, that was some."
Yeah, your soul ain't gonna sit right.
That was not you.
And yourself gonna remind you that that's not you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. People know what you are, but at the same time, it's gonna let you know that's not you.
And that's how I know it's a difference. You know, some people make those, like some people do dirty things and they okay with the decisions.
Well, some people that's their nature.
Yeah,
that's who they are.
But when it's not you, it's like stealing a piece of candy. Like, I gotta go back and tell that man. Let me go and give him 50 cents.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? For God do something.
Right,
it compels you, man. Like I said, and that's when you know it's in you. Walk me through a time where you had to really step back and let somebody go or let something go, and how did that decision look for you in the end once you made it?
Well, man, it's hard for me to let people go, right? But it's also the moments that I have to pull back, because sometimes I want something more for people than they want for themselves. And when I did Riding the Rods, I used to tell y'all that all the time. In the midst of me getting frustrated with y'all. Yeah. Like, I want it more than y'all want it for yourselves. I'm putting it right in front of y'all. Y'all want to take it, right? And then eventually I had to realize, like, either they going to see it later on down the line or it's going to happen at the right time for them. It's just not this time. And once I got to that point and I realized that man, it's people that I used to kick it with that I don't kick with it no more. And it's not the fact that I changed. Most people think because you grew or you got a little bit more money or this happened, they thinking you changed. And the whole thing is just like, no, I ain't changed. I'm still the same person. And I always joke with people like, I ain't changed, just my bank account. I'm still the same. Yeah. Right? And the thing is that a lot of times when you see that and people go through that, it's not letting people go. Is, hey, at this time we just not in each other's season. Because it's certain homeboys I can pick up the phone right now and I ain't talked to them about 6 months. But guess what? When we pick up the phone, it's like we ain't missed a beat.
Ain't missed a beat, yeah.
It's certain homeboys that I just won't say nothing at all to. No. Right? But if I see them in the street, I dap them up. That's just how it is. It's things that you do because it's like those sort of things. You either come in a person's life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Yeah. And I tell people, which one you want me to be for you? You want to be the reason? You want to be a season for you? Or you want me to be a lifetime?
And that's probably what I really need to start working on, is understanding who is in my life for reasons, seasons, and lifetimes. Because like you, I got a hard time of letting, like, once I cut you off, it's off.
Oh yeah, but I'm the same way.
For me to get to that point, man, you gotta.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and I feel like that's a weakness and that's a strength too. It can play both because I'm a firm believer that everybody has something good to offer.
Yeah, exactly.
I go by the code of take the good and leave the bad.
Right.
Everybody has something to offer you, and it's not necessarily like nobody's useless. I don't want to believe.
Right.
But at a certain time, like you said, after a while, after so much hurt, after so much grief for dealing with you, I do have to step back. But at that point, God making me do it at that point, because, like I said, I'm hard headed, and God could have been showed me 5 different times. You need to leave that person alone. But then, like, even with recently, I feel like He made me make the mistake.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To where it wasn't, to where the choice or the decision wasn't in my hands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To remove themselves from me. So, yeah, that's a tough one.
We all could be loyal to a fault. A lot of times, once you learn that, once you realize that you could be loyal to a fault, I think a lot of times it starts showing you the true character of people that you need to let go.
Yeah.
And then when I always hate to use this, think about when somebody passed away in your family. The first week, 2 weeks, everybody calling you, checking on you, making sure you're okay. The cars are coming, people stopping by your house, dropping off food. As soon as you put your loved one to rest, the call stop. They stop checking on you. They stop seeing, oh, you okay. Now, this is the moment you really need them. but they stop. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when you start putting that in perspective, right? When you put that in perspective, I'm a family man, I love family dearly. I came from a large family on both sides, right? So when you look at it, a lot of times you have to let them people keep their distance, because what are their intentions for you? No. And once you learn that part of it, it's the reason that why we ain't talking to each other every day. It's the reason why we ain't kicking it. It's the reason that certain things happen. But it's also a reason that sometimes some people you have to gravitate because they don't know how to give you what you're looking for. So when in the midst of me saying that is that I had a mentor that passed away in 2014, and this guy like really showed me some stuff about myself and who I was. He really brought out, hey man, you are a natural born leader, like, right? And when he passed, I went to his funeral. I spoke at his funeral. But one of the things I said in my head is that I wish I would have called him more. Yeah. I wish I just would have called him once a week, something, right? And so now I became intentional with people that I say that I love, who I feel like impacted my life. I'm intentional now. So I call them, or I text them, or I say what's up to them intentionally, because I want them to know I don't want to just say I love you and I don't use action with it. So a lot of times when you look at it, you got to look at it from a standpoint of, sometimes I got to let people go, let them go be who they are, because I love them enough to let them go be who they are, right? And then I also learned the other part of what I said earlier. I had to stop expecting me out of people. Yeah. So I know that I still call and check on you, even though we not seeing eye to eye. I know I still help you out if you need me to, but I know I ain't gonna call you to help me out because I know you ain't gonna be me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Exactly.
And not for real. If you could talk, last question, bro. If you can talk to the version of yourself who was carrying all that weight, what would you tell yourself today?
It's okay to seek help. Sure. It's okay to write down what you feel. It's okay to tell people how you feel about them. A lot of times we spare people feelings because we're afraid of how they're going to feel after we tell them how they made us feel, right? Sometimes people got to feel your hurt so they can hurt. You ain't doing it intentionally, but they got to feel your hurt. They got to understand what impact or what control they had over you at the time. We could forgive people. I learned that forgiving people and letting it go is a whole lot more refreshing than holding on to it. Well, it's a lot of people, man, and we could, you know, I don't know the people at Brighton Horizons, because you know Brighton Horizons still going on. I don't know if the people gonna see this podcast. I don't know if they gonna watch it, but
don't worry about that.
But it was a lot of hurtful things that happened to me in that process, and I had to learn to forgive. And when I learned to forgive, I end up growing more, right? It's like I end up growing more and God blessed me with more, to where when you see me, you like, whoa, right? Yeah. When you pull up to my house, you're like, whoa. When you pull up and see me when I'm driving, you're like, whoa, right? So it's one of those things of that sometimes God will let you go through a lot of pain or go through a lot of things that you had so much care and love for, that he's going to let your enemy see how far he could bring you. And so what I would tell my younger self, no matter what, keep pushing. No matter the downfalls, keep pushing. No matter the frustrations, keep pushing. But also take the time to take moments for yourself. Like, once again, I didn't go to therapy, start going to therapy until I was 42. And that was when my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer. And I knew that I had to go seek some help in that process. Now, the crazy part about it, you got to think about it. My mother-in-law lived with us. My mother-in-law been dealing with breast cancer, and it was a different journey, right? Then when it became my mom, it was a whole nother light. Yeah. So I knew that I had to go talk to somebody, because I'm like, I don't know what this is gonna look like. And then you start, like, once again, you start going through your head and start trying to prepare your mind for certain things that could possibly happen. And you going through that cycle. And then I realized I had to go talk to somebody. And once I started talking to somebody, I was able to start, hey, man, this is kind of what I'm thinking. To my siblings, this is, my wife. I could say all those things so that I could be able to get it off my chest instead of me harnessing it in and holding on to it. So you have to make sure, don't be afraid to speak how you feel. A lot of times I think we get so pulled into not wanting to tell people how you feel because you're afraid of how they gonna feel because you told them how you felt.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the things that I've learned is like, no, I ain't holding that in. And I think that if I would have spoke up for myself back in Brighton Horizons, instead of saying, no, okay, yeah, all right, I'm gonna lay down. Because you gotta think about it. The moment I started Brighton Horizons, I told him I didn't trust him.
Yeah.
My first line to him.
Time me wrong.
you get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. For me, I would say, I would tell my younger self to carry the weight with a little bit more grace.
Right.
Because you built for it.
Right.
No matter how hard it is, you really have to understand that all things are working together for you. You know what I'm saying? God ain't gonna put too much on you that you can't bear. And stop doubting yourself. Stop doubting it and stop asking for it to be lighter. Right. Because I'm reminded of the story when they was talking about the dude who kept carrying the cross, and he kept asking God, man, could you cut it? It's too heavy. Could you cut it shorter? Cut it shorter. And by the time he got to the bridge he was supposed to get over, he kept asking God to cut it shorter, and God kept cutting it shorter, but the cross wasn't long enough for him to get across the bridge there when he needed it. So I do feel like I spent a lot of time learning from the weight, and trying to duck and dodge the weight, right, and trying to take the easier way out, and not understanding that taking the easier way out caused me so way much more detriment, way much more turmoil than if I was just to stick to it and do what I knew I was supposed to do. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I would tell myself, don't be scared of the weight. Carry it with a little bit more grace. Understand who you is, and if you got the weight on you, it was meant for you to carry.
Yeah, most definitely. If you gonna carry it, he's not gonna like what you said. He ain't gonna give you too much you can't bear, and you just gotta know that you gotta be willing to bear it. Yeah. Once you're willing to bear it, once you're willing to carry it, you just gotta just keep pressing. And like I said, if you even take that notion of that, but you also gotta know when to take a break. Yeah. You gotta know, it's like that thing. You also gotta know when to take a sip of water. You gotta know if you gonna carry it, you gotta still know when to take those breaks and take that sip of water and rest in the process of carrying it, so you can keep carrying it. Yes, see, the guy who was carrying it, and he kept asking him, cut something off. He never rests. He kept on just saying, cut it off. So you got to know when to do those things to keep going on the journey.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, man, it's been a good conversation, Mrs. O. Like I said, I thank you so much for coming and stopping by and actually taking time out your day to talk to us about this, man. Do you got anything that the people should know that, that's coming up, or something that you want to have a little bit more traction to, or anything, anywhere where the people can follow you on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, anything?
Well, I mean, same guy, same song, Collins Wade, on Facebook, at Collins Wade on Snapchat. I keep it the same. I feel like my name is a brand. It's only one C Wade in the world, and that's me. And that's me. But I mean, one of the things that I could tell your viewers, man, is that just continue to be who you are. Always remember that you are the person. You have a purpose. You have a reason. Don't feel short of yourself. And then just keep walking with a purpose so that people can see your light. Don't never let nobody dim your light. By me being a traveling man, I tell people all that all the time. Like, I can't let nobody dim my light. But those are the things I eventually I might get started, like what we was talking about earlier, get started with a podcast, jump on here with you, probably be a co-host with you or something like that.
We'll talk
make some stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But it's those things like that, man. You know, just if people want some encouraging words, I do post stuff encouraging each day. If you want to know some things on how to press through life, I can also help people with that. You know, I've been doing this journey of being a mentor for a long time.
Yes, sir.
I still do it no matter what. And you know, it was always a pleasure, man. You see how I carved it out my time to be here for you.
Yes, sir.
So you know, anytime anybody from that group or Brighton Horizons people call me up, and whether they getting married, having kids, I'm there.
Yeah, I'm about to put a picture up of you and my wedding. But yeah, I'm about to get you also, if you don't mind, joining the WhatsApp. That's also for everybody else in the community. Follow us on TikTok at Talk Ya Way Thru. On YouTube, please like, subscribe, and click the little bell so you can get a notification when we putting up new videos. And join the WhatsApp community. On WhatsApp, we're using it, you know, just as a conversation to have or an open therapy session. You can consider it just for, you know, men to join and talk about their day, talk about the problems that they're facing throughout the day. We have a couple people in there right now, and we're trying to grow the community. Also, we're going to use that to push out updates for the show as far as when clips are dropping or when new episodes are dropping, or y'all might get a little behind the scene thing. We also try to do devotions and just uplifting when we can in the WhatsApp community. So when you go to WhatsApp, just search Talk Your Way Thru and you should see the channel. And then from there, you can join the chat. Again, we thank you. This has been another episode of Talk Your Way Thru. Have a good day. Don't forget to join the WhatsApp community, where we will be encouraging and uplifting on a daily basis, as well as putting out updates regarding the show. Just click WhatsApp and search Talk Your Way Thru.